Hi there, this is episode number 42 of the Cowgirl Confessions podcast, and on this episode you'll hear from the bold and beautiful cowgirl businesswoman, Quincy Freeman Eldridge. She shares her story of how the Rodeo Quincy brand was born, how she navigates her roles as a rodeo wife, mama, and business owner, as well as some of her must-haves for taking on Vegas as a vendor during the National Finals Rodeo. She even gives us the inside scoop on a project she's been working on that's very near and dear to her heart. I hope y'all enjoy episode 42 with Quincy Freeman Eldridge. Hey y'all, and welcome. You're listening to the Cowgirl Confessions podcast. I'm your host, Dakota Dawn Johnson, small town cowgirl with southern roots, blazing a trail as a Midwest ranch wife, mama, and businesswoman. The mission of Cowgirl Confessions is to share the wonderfully wild and western life stories of cowgirls from all walks of life. We'll talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to navigating careers, cowboys, kids, and cattle. Legendary cowgirl Dale Evans said it best: "Cowgirl is a pioneer spirit, a special brand of American courage." The cowgirl faces life head-on, lives by her own lights, and makes no excuses. Cowgirls take stands. They speak up. They defend the things they hold dear. A cowgirl might be a rancher, a barrel racer, a bull rider, or an actress, but she's just as likely to be a checker at the local Winn-Dixie, a full-time mother, a banker, an attorney, or an astronaut. If you're into wet saddle blankets, talks with God, buckets full of laughter, and the life lessons learned in the process, kick off your boots and settle in. I pray these stories encourage, empower, and give you just the leg up you need. Here's to embracing the cowgirl state of mind, no matter how wild and western life may get along the way. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, it's awesome to finally get to connect. And, NFR is right around the corner. Holiday season is upon us. We have so much to talk about today. But first, I would just love to hear, what life looks like for you right now and really the story of how Rodeo Q came to be.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to tell you about it. So, yeah, right now my most exciting time of year. We're gearing up for NFR here in December for holiday, and we're coming out with new Rodeo Q products. So it's a really exciting time. But honestly, just sitting back right now talking to you about it, I'm like so grateful for where I'm at and where this company has taken me. And yeah, I'll kind of give you my little life story about where I started and how I got to where I'm at with Rodeo Q. Yeah, so let me start with, first of all, as a little kid growing up, school was always like pretty tough for me. I had to work, it seemed like, twice as hard as any of the other kids. But I finally found my niche, and that was with sports, running and rodeo and art. I always was like super creative. My science project probably didn't win the science fair, but it dang sure was like the one that was a head turner, and everybody like went to go look at it. And at the time, I always remember being like so worried about what I was going to be. When I grew up, I thought I had to be like a doctor or a lawyer to be successful. And it never dawned on me that you can kind of find what your strengths are and stick to that and follow what you're passionate about and turn that into a career. And so I was so fortunate, pretty much, because I had amazing doors open for me, and I walked through those doors, and they just led to one opportunity after another. And so when I was in high school, that's really when my love for high school rodeo sprung about, and loved everything about it. I was taking art classes and loved art, found out that I could draw, and I was drawing these things. I remember I was bringing them home, and my mom was like, "Who did this for you? Like, did you cheat?" And I was like, "No, that's what I did, And I kind of threw around the idea to my parents, like, maybe I'll go to FIDM to design school, and my parents were kind of like, no, you better, do something a little bit more solid. And I had dreams of going to Cal Poly, so I just applied to Cal Poly. I got in under ag communications, and I didn't really know what I was going to do, my career. I was excited to be on the rodeo team there. And so that's sort of where I was at. Well, then the most amazing opportunity happened. I was actually competing at the National High School Finals Rodeo my senior year in Farmington, New Mexico. And I was spotted by Ariat, who, Ariat. That's how Dakota and I know each other. Yeah. And long story short, trying not to drag it out too long, but I was given the opportunity to design for them. I had been hand painting my own horse tack, and it was very bright and loud. I was putting Swarovski crystals on it, and it was really gaining a lot of attention because at the time, the Western tack and wear was, pretty neutral, and my stuff just stood out. And anyways, I had the opportunity to go to the Ariat headquarters, meet with them. I had no idea Ariat was based out of California. That's where I was from, grew up. And they offered me this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to design a line for them. They thought it would be so neat because I was that customer, that consumer that they were targeting. And they thought, we'll give her an opportunity to design her own line. And so I'm in there, 18 years old. They're asking me if I can design boots. And I'm like, yeah, I can design boots. Sure. I'd worn them my whole life, but I didn't really know how. But I'm so, so grateful for that opportunity because, they taught me. I went on I was drawing on paper, like hand-drawn designs. And then their artists were going ahead and putting those into CADs and using Adobe Illustrator. So this went on for a few years with Ariat. I was fortunate enough to design a few lines for them. I was able to do some clothing as well. While in college, I was still majoring in ag communications, so nothing really to do with design. But I went over to the junior college and I took some design courses in Adobe Illustrator and started teaching myself how to do the designs. And it really was like about at this time, I fell in love with the industry that Ariat showed me. And that was like that Western world of fashion. It was like all of my passions came together and I realized, how awesome it was because it was still had to do with rodeo, the Western lifestyle that I had grown up living, but also I had this passion for fashion and clothing also. So it was just like the most exciting time. And I was so fortunate to be in that position.
I remember seeing your tack, and I had just started at Ariat as a field service merchandiser, and I was working a lot of events like high school finals, PBR, stuff like that. And as you're talking about that target consumer, I mean, I was then, and I still am now, that target consumer. I love your brand and your product. I was just excited to get to have one of those, because I actually worked at Ariat and I felt pretty dadgum special that I was getting something that was designed by you. You're absolutely beautiful, bold businesswoman to boot. Like you're the whole package. And so I'm wondering, Quincy, like what advice can you share with us on just being bold and like owning that uniqueness, because you were young, you said you were 18 years old. Exactly. In a corporate setting, but you had something in you that gave you that courage, that like cowgirl state of mind, if you will, to be like, yeah, I'm gonna rise to this occasion. I'm gonna do this. So tell us about that.
Exactly. I think it's all just part of, and I stress this so much to younger kids that, ask for my advice, is like, walk through every door of opportunity you can, especially at that age. Even if it doesn't work out, it's so important to say yes, even if you're nervous or you're afraid. And honestly, I have to credit that to my mother. She was always my biggest driving force. She gave me the confidence to walk into that room, wearing those clothes that might have stuck out. For instance, I actually used to go to private school, and every chance I would get to be different, I would wear like a big red rose in my hair, or I would wear crazy socks. And I remember the kids kind of teasing me because I always had this like different type of fashion. But my mother, she was always that way in what she wore and what she did. And she kind of had that, philosophy. be a rose in a field full of sunflowers. And she encouraged me to be that way. And because of that, I was able to walk into that area corporate office, with all of these, amazing, successful businesswomen dressed in my flashy hand-painted tack and belts and stuff, and say, heck yeah, I'd love to design a line for you. So it's important to just stay true to who you are, to have thick skin and not care what other people think. So
I love how you share that, just about your mom, breathing that belief into you and encouraging you. And it's so important that we all have at least one person in our life doing that. It really makes a difference. And, now you're in that position. You're a mama and, a rodeo wife, precious little girl, Sally Lou. So what are some of your favorite adventures that you and Dakota and Sally have gotten to go on lately?
Oh gosh. Well, we don't go on all the adventures with Daddy because he is at like a rodeo every single week, and I'm back home trying to run the business. But we are fortunate because we do get to pick and choose and we like to go to some of the big fun ones. And I would say, we're so fortunate and grateful because it's just part of the magic of rodeo is our family, for one. It just brings our family together, being able to travel and go to those beautiful places. And then the friends and the people that we've met along the way. We're just so fortunate that no matter win or lose or money made, that we're getting to make those memories because, in the end, we don't take anything but our memories with us. And rodeo has given me some of the best memories as far back as, my high school rodeo days with my parents and my brothers and my sisters and my nieces and nephews, and now making memories at those rodeos with Dakota. It's just such a big part of my life. And honestly, couldn't have named my business a more fitting name, Rodeo Quincy. So we're just so fortunate to be able to live the life that we do. Absolutely.
I couldn't agree with you more. There's nothing quite like, rodeo family, as we call it. And it's just so fun to be able to watch too from afar, and seeing how you're just really embracing being all the things, being a rodeo wife, being a mama, being a business owner, and a cowgirl too. And it's just really encouraging. So Quincy, with the NFR right around the corner, you are a wealth of knowledge in so many areas, from being there set up as a vendor to being there, cheering on your husband, your nephew. Like there's so many different parts of the NFR that you have had a front row seat to. So I would really like it if you could share with us just some of the ins and outs and maybe your favorite things about Vegas.
Sure. Yeah. Vegas is just a special time of year. I'm so excited that the NFR is headed back there this year. Last year was quite different with everything with COVID and stuff. So being able to head back there, my husband said it best. He's like, Texas was great. We're so grateful for them still having it. But he said, there's nothing like when they play Viva Las Vegas and he goes running down the tunnel at the Thomas and back. It's so electric. And it's not even the event. It's all of the people that show up and the fans and the love and the support. My husband worked so hard all year long trying to make it there. And, sometimes them guys make it there and they've literally spent the amount of money that they've won just to get there. And so making it there is so important. And to have that support from all of the people that show up and that are going to be watching it on the Cowboy Channel is just so special. And it's also so special to have our family there, to have multiple family members that have qualified this year. My niece just married Dawson Hay, Canadian bronc rider. He'll be there in the bronc riding. We're so excited about that. My nephew, Lefty Holman, he just had a setback right at the end of the year. He was on his way to making it and had a little bit of setback, but we're so proud of him, the way that he's handled it. And we know he's going to come back even stronger and better for next year. We've got my niece Billy actually just got engaged to bull rider Clayton Sellers last night, and he'll be there in the bull riding. My cousin Annie Rose has her husband Clayton Bigelow, world champion bareback rider in the bareback riding, and then my husband, Dakota Eldridge, will be there in the steer wrestling. So we've almost got every event covered in our family. So there'll be lots of prayers that week, lots of exciting things going on. And then to top it off, you'd mentioned I've had a booth at Vegas. Gosh, I've had a booth in Vegas, I think the last maybe 8 years. And I started going to Vegas when I was 19. I started before I could get a booth there, because it is sort of hard to get a booth there if you haven't before. I found just some amazing people, and I was able to put my items in their booth on consignment. So back to when I first started and how this company got to where it's got is I started putting my things in consignment in booths, and people would sell them, and that's how it all started. I remember running back and forth from the Sands and then the Las Vegas Convention Center, like all day, every day, trying to fill more stock. And so that taught me a lot about what NFR was all about, and the type of customers that shop there. And it was my dream when I was 19. I'm like, I want to have my own booth someday in Cowboy Christmas. And this year we have a bigger size booth. It'll be the biggest booth we've ever had at Cowboy Christmas. And I could not be more excited to see it all come forth, between having my husband there competing, having my booth, having my little girl there running around. I couldn't be more excited.
Oh gosh, I'm excited for you. Just hearing about all of the family that's going to be there. So many connections, in the rodeo world. And then Quincy, with you having your own booth, and like you said, it's going to be the largest booth that you've ever had. What are, your top 2 to 3 things that you recommend having like in a toolkit to successfully set up and manage your booth while you're in Vegas? It takes a lot. I've worked in those booths for, multiple years, and from snacks to phone chargers to what do you try to have that keeps you, prepared for anything at your booth?
One thing I've learned over the years, and it costs a little bit more, but it's worth it because your workers are there working so hard for that many days, and you don't want them to give out on you, is padded floors make such a difference in like the knees and everything. And so if you can afford it, I highly recommended padded floors. And another thing I would highly recommend, I just discovered maybe like 3 NFRs ago. Maybe it's because I'm getting older now. Now I'm a mom, but I've finally succumbed to comfortable shoes. I used to be in my like high heels, I'd get extra heels even tacked on my cowboy boots because I love having me some height. But the last few years, well, I am kind of cheating when I say comfort shoes, because Dakota, what I've discovered is high-heeled tennis shoes.
Oh my goodness.
So, like tennis shoes with like the big wedges.
Yes.
I just start rocking those, and they help so much, but they still give you that cute look. I'm not about to show up in a pair of, Crocs at NFR. I haven't stooped that low yet, but you probably will catch me in some high-heeled tennis shoes towards the end.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was going to ask you what fashion, are we going to see you in? Because you're one of the ones that everybody watches for. I mean, myself included, to see like, okay, what is Quincy wearing this year? And so I got a feeling anybody that's got those kind of platform or wedged tennis shoes, they're going to be selling a lot of them, it sounds like.
Yeah. This year, I think it's, for me more, it's what will Sally be wearing, my daughter, because now that I have her, it's like I could care less, more so about what I'm wearing and more what she's wearing.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm excited to put some fun outfits together with Sally. Last year, I had a little too much fun, and Sally and I had some mommy and me matching outfits. I don't know if you caught some of those, but
yes.
But yeah, no, it'll be fun. I mean, you guys, my style. It's pretty bold and fun and colorful. So it's definitely that. And I will say we're very excited to be back in Vegas. So there's probably going to be some shimmer and some shine because we're in Vegas again.
Oh, fun. I can't wait to see it all. From afar. You're great about posting on social media, because I won't be out there this year, but I know, thankfully we can kind of feel like we are whenever people are sharing their outfits and just what's going on and with the Cowboy Channel. Just thankful for that technology that can keep us all connected.
Yes, we'll try and do the best we can with our social media. Between Lily, she's my right-hand gal now. I've been lucky to swoop up my niece, and she works full-time for me. She's the wife of Dawson Hay also. So we'll both be on the Instagram trying to share outfits, trying to share all the fun stuff at NFR. Something else I left out that's truly magical about NFR and why I'm so excited is we don't go to shows throughout the year. We have a warehouse. We don't have a brick and mortar store. And so for me, it's the one place where we can meet our customers face to face. And some of these people have bought from us, continuously, and I've never actually got to meet them in person. And so that's just like the cherry on top is meeting people that love what we're doing. And it sort of just gives me inspires me to make more, to do more for these great people. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to meeting our customers and getting their feedback.
Oh man, what a gift that is on both sides, like you said, because it's so great when you can finally put a face with a name.
Exactly. And also going to the rodeo and just seeing people wearing Rodeo Q around. And sometimes they're people I don't know. It's like the most wonderful feeling ever.
Yeah, we joke because with me selling Ariat, I can spot it like a mile away, and it's such a good feeling, like you said, when you see somebody choosing to wear the brand, and I mean, I'm not an Ariat designer, but I feel like that brand is, it's part of me, because that's what helps provide for me and my family, and I just believe in the brand. But it just gives you such a great feeling, like, hey, this person there, we've got something in common. We can share this.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like all your hard work is not for nothing, and don't get me wrong, it's not all roses. Like, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I know Rodeo Q is not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody's going to like it. To be honest, a lot of people, especially on social media, aren't very nice. And so that's kind of, it honestly fuels my fire, and it just makes me want to get, more people in it and create more great things. And the good definitely outweighs the bad and makes it all worth it.
I love that you brought that up, though, because I think sometimes it's really easy to get discouraged. But as you mentioned before, like, you found a real niche in the market. And while it may not be everybody's cup of tea, when there's a niche in a market and you have an idea like that, you don't need to back off on it. Like, that's when you put the hammer down and you go after it, because there's people out there that are hungry for what you want to create.
Exactly. You just need to make all the negative people and pessimists fuel your fire and prove them wrong. You can't let them set you back, because there's been a lot of people that have tried to, set me back, and you just have to ignore them and go on. It doesn't matter.
Oh, that right there sounds just like, I mean, that's when I think of the Cowgirl State of Mind. So much of it has to do with that mentality. And, Quincy, you navigate all the things that this podcast is really about, career, a cowboy husband, you've got kids and cattle. And how do you do that?
It is like, it's a lot to juggle it all. And, I think it's really hard to be great at everything. And I think you probably can relate for sure, Dakota, because you have so much on your plate too. But you know what I think? I think all you do is the best that you can, and that's all that matters. And also helps getting the best help that you can. But, I had a real big eye opener in 2020 because we lost my mom. And honestly, my world just like stopped. You just, you never know when your last day is either. And like my mom, both her parents were 95 years old when we lost them. She has 6 brothers and sisters. She's the middle of the pack. All of them are still living. And so when she was diagnosed with cancer, it was just like, what, and even though it was like, we're not going to lose her. And, she was doing so well, and it was very unexpected. But honestly, like, it's taught me the most beautiful lesson. And that is like, I would be so stressed out, on a day-to-day business, or day-to-day, that, oh no, I made this mistake. This design's not selling well, or I messed up here. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is really your health and your family's health. And everything else is like super small. So when you're stressing and you think it's a big thing, it's not.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can relate to you on, losing a mom unexpectedly, and it definitely puts life in a whole different perspective. From that point forward, and it's one of those lessons that you don't want to share that with anybody else, because it is a painful thing to walk through. But
Right.
it definitely is an eye opener. And I love and appreciate what you said so much. Like, you just got to show up and you got to do your best every day and let it fall where it's going to fall.
Right. And if you think you have a real problem, I guarantee there's somebody out there that's dealing with something way larger, than what you're dealing with. So I think it's just a matter of waking up every day, being so grateful for each day, loving, your loved ones, holding them tight. And honestly, having the faith will get you through that. Too, I can't encourage everyone enough. That's what's helped me so much the last year and a half, is my faith has given me the strength, and with faith you can get through anything. So
Absolutely. And I'm sure, Quincy, with just your mom, I never had the opportunity to meet her, but y'all referred to her as Mustang Sally, just one heck of a cowgirl. Yeah. I mean,
oh yeah,
just all around cowgirl. And I would love if you could share with us just anything that maybe she taught you.
One thing she told me, and I actually just got done telling Lefty, which I'm so proud of him, the way he's handled his injuries. But anytime I would face anything as a little kid, like I scoped myself in the face, and I have a scar in between my eyes. And I remember crying and being like, oh no, I ruined my face. And she told me, you know what? She said, if that's the worst thing that you ever encounter in your life, she said, then you're lucky. And that was her attitude. It was like, be so grateful. You don't feel sorry for yourself. Toughen up. Don't care what other people, think. And honestly, with every victory I've had and where I've got to where I have with my business is all because of all of that my mother instilled in me. She was just such a driving force. But even though she's not here anymore, I still have her voice in my head, and I know exactly what she would do in certain situations. So I'm very grateful to have had her for as long as I did.
She's left such a beautiful legacy in you and your entire family. And so, Quincy, is there anything new coming up on the horizon for Rodeo Quincy?
Actually, I'm so glad you asked. We are getting ready to launch a new collection that's very near and dear to me and Lily's heart, because my mother actually was a fashion designer back in the day, and she had a collection she came out with in the 80s called Marvel Cowboy. It's something that's been on my heart for a while. I've always wanted to bring back that in honor of my mom. And so this year we actually got it done, and we will be launching it here in the next week or two, and it'll be called the Marvel Cowboy line. It's going to be a spin totally different than Rodeo Quincy. It'll be more of a black label collection, very premium, all made in the USA. And so I cannot wait for everyone to see that, to get everybody's feedback. And I really hope it's something that my mom would have been proud of.
I know she would absolutely be proud. And just what a beautiful testament of what an impact she's had on you. Congratulations, Quincy.
Thank you. I can't wait to share it with the world.
I would love to know, Quincy, what does the Cowgirl State of Mind, what does that mean to you? Because that's what this whole podcast is dedicated to. And I feel like you are a walking example of what that is, but I'd love to know what it means to you.
I think it's just part of like the morale of being a cowboy. And it's, at the end of the day, it's not like how successful you are, it's how you treat others, and how you make others feel. And I think it's all a part of being faith-filled and spreading love, honestly, wherever you go. And my mom, she was that. When you speak of that, she was a tough cowgirl that she wasn't going to take any, BS from anyone, but she also left everybody. Everyone she met was truly touched by who she was. And that's also one of the other amazing things now that she's gone. It's like, wow, I didn't realize every single person that she encountered, she somehow touched them and made them feel better about themselves. She was the most selfless human. It wasn't really about her, even though she was such a loud personality, beautiful woman, amazing style. It was not about her. It was about others and how you leave others and how you make them feel.
That's got cowgirl written all over it. And I see so much of that in you and just how you're running your business and, just encouraging other women that are in this industry and as well as want to be, in this industry. So thank you so much, Quincy. And where can everybody go to follow along with you and get some Rodeo Quincy gear to get ready for the NFR?
Yeah, so we actually have live sales, which have been super fun. They are every Tuesday, every Thursday. You can download our app, Rodeo Quincy app, in the App Store. We're on Android and iPhone. We also have our website, rodeoquincy.com, and we will be in Las Vegas at Cowboy Christmas. We'll be located, I don't know the exact booth location yet, but it's right near Boot Barn, so you can't miss it. Lily and I will be there probably about every day from about 11 to 3. We obviously have to go to the rodeo every night and cheer on our husbands, so try and be there as much as we can. We're just really looking forward to meeting as many customers as we can.
Thank you for spending your time with me on the Cowgirl Confessions podcast. I'm so glad y'all stopped by. If you could take a moment to share this episode and tag us on social media, I'd be happier than a cowgirl in a sea of buy one, get one vintage turquoise. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss an episode. New episodes will be released bi-monthly. Please leave us a review if you feel so led by going to iTunes. Your feedback will really help us breed the idea of grabbing life by the horns with a cowgirl state of mind into women across the globe. Some that may have never even had the privilege to throw their leg over a horse, but could most certainly use the cowgirl state of mind while navigating life. Thanks again, y'all. Until next time, keep pursuing your dreams with that all go and no woe mentality. Remember, you're writing a story that's worth saddling up for, sister.